Hello, this is another weekly reading, just the regular pulling from the cards reading today. I am using my own deck that I did the art for myself and some of my own notes on the hexagrams. However, I will use some other references. The I Ching is really useful when you're trying to just get a sense of what kind of movement you're moving in, like what kind of current you're moving within, what kind of movement you should have within yourself as you're going through that current. It's sort of the book of changes. So it gives you a sense of that change that you're existing in and how you can best respond or take what attitude you can take within yourself in order to respond to that change. So I'm going to ask you, my viewer, to hold a question, situation, um, in yourself. And I will ask the guardians and the spirit of the elements to give you advice through this tool, through this technology. Using a deck for these readings is not the only way. I have some other examples on the channel where I did coins. At some point, I'd like to show you the Euro stocks. I'm kind of waiting until I get around to my new setup for that because the camera situation I have going on right now is not the most conducive. I wish I had a good microphone so you could hear that shuffle. It's very satisfying. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and spread them out and then magnetically see where I feel drawn. Ah, I just showed you this one. It's crazy. Um, Humility, hexagram 15. And I've seen this one come up a bit lately. I did a analysis with humility in it. So I believe I shared that in one of my previous readings, but I'll add the link in this one as well. Humility is the earth beneath the world, temperance in all things. There may be too much of things in one place, but not enough in others. Take care to restore equilibrium in all that you do. Be in such balance with heaven and earth that your will is imperceivable, a mountain of quiet strength. Who can upend the humble? None can cast blame or loathing on a humble heart. So think a little for a moment about your situation. What does the element of earth mean for you in this situation? What aspects of that situation are earthy, are stable, are material, physical? It can be monetary, it can be about the home, it could be about sustenance. And the world is an energy of nurturing. It's the mother. It's encompassing and open to all. It's open-minded, open-ended. It has a flow or a following quality to it, but a wise following. It follows with a knowingness or an intuition about it being the right time to follow. So those two elements are at play here. And we'll talk a little bit more about what they mean specifically. First, I'm going to draw our next card. Feel that one really well. This card is the one that wants to come out. Contemplating. Ugh. These cards, they keep coming back up to me. I feel like maybe I need to be paying more attention. I assume these readings are for y'all, but maybe the I Ching is telling me to tune in. Hexagram 20 is sometimes called contemplating. If you have filled yourself with the virtue of heaven, then you may simply act with sincerity. The images of wind blowing over the land. This is a metaphor for how broadly one should take observation of both their situation and of their own virtues. Ideally, you will attain a higher perspective such that the details are no longer important because you have come to understand the essence. And so here we have the world again. And in this case, or here, the world was on top. We have the world beneath and the air element on top. Okay, and so if we look at how these are situated, the lines that are changing here, we have the third line, the fifth line, and the sixth line. 3, 3, 5, and 6. With 3 changing lines, I tend to look at that as a past line, a present line, and a future line. So let's see what these have to say to us. Well, the first thing I always like to look at is just the judgment or the advice of the main hexagram. This is the one we're existing in right now. And with humility, we get some ideas about the superior person decreases the abundant and adds to the scarce, assessing things and dealing impartially. A Chun Tzu uses reducing the numerous to augment the few, uses evaluating beings to even, spreading out. This is sort of that too much in one place and not enough in another sort of idea. So we're talking a lot here about balance. The advice is to find that really appropriate, humble balance, right? Don't let your mountain become lopsided and fall over, I guess. The superior man in accordance with this diminishes excess to augment insufficiencies, creating a just balance. That's a good one. Some other names for this are modesty, moderation, yielding, retiring. Only those who are superior know where to stop and disregard what they have and appear to have nothing. That's an interesting line as well. Some of the themes we get are to think and act with modesty, to kind of look past your pride or your ego, to stay close to the basics and adhere to the basics. Little tiny steps, nothing too bold. Line 3 is our first changing line. I'm just going to do a little bit of reading before I think, and thinking before I speak. There has been a work already taking place within you. It's something that you've already been making baby steps towards. You have not necessarily been advertising, right? And it has felt as if you're taking these baby steps, that you are not alone in this goal that you're working towards, that there is some unconscious divine force aiding you in this. And you may or may not have felt doubts or certainty about that. I can't speak for you, but what I can say is that you didn't need to have doubts, that you should know now that this thing and you've been spending time on, you felt supported by the divine, and it wasn't your imagination. You were supported. Um, and that's your line 3. And I said 5 and 6 were our other lines. So I'm going to look at those for a minute. I'm going to read this one. I know I didn't read the last one out loud necessarily, but the 5th line, magnetic, shows one who, without being rich, is able to employ her neighbors. She may advantageously use the force of arms. All her movements will be advantageous. There's another one that's sort of like no boasting of wealth before one's neighbor. It's favorable to attack with force. Nothing that would not further. And so what I'm seeing here is that maybe you've been taking baby steps on towards this, feeling a little bit of doubt, but also feeling sort of like maybe something's pushing you along and making a path for you to walk on with these baby steps, right? But you're like, is that really the path I want to walk on? And so what I'm seeing is that where you are right now, there isn't a single thing you can do that will not be advantageous. All of your movements will advance you towards this goal that you have. Um, but still, in the same way that you were perhaps quietly making those steps in line 3, not advertising, so to speak, this line is also continuing to advise you not to boast of your wealth. Perhaps you're already seeing benefits. You're already receiving rewards for this or progress towards this goal that you have. And you're being told it's not yet time to go public with maybe your goal at all. You are still working quietly towards this goal. Um, there's no need to boast, right? Um, so that's what I think I'm seeing here. Do what needs to be done. Don't make a big deal about it. That's the main message. That's where you are right now. That is your current advice in this situation. Line 6 is a future line and potentially a near future line. Usually with this sort of like single question in the moment reading, unless there's a very language in the text about it taking a long time. I consider these to be relatively quickly turning changes in situations. A month, is a decent timeline at most, though it could be faster. Um, you can usually have a sense of it based on your question. So in the 6th line, is asking us to recognize that there are some inherent limitations in this situation that we're working towards. That you may not want to expect a complete achievement of your goal at all. That a partial achievement is the achievement. And that you should be carefully reflecting on yourself and your response to that. Be prepared to manage your inner world in response to that incomplete achievement that you may feel in this situation. Um, Continue to focus yourself, build up reserves for this goal. Um, Set your motives and set your house, set yourself in order. I say house because I feel like that earthy element really is about our material things. Put your material things in order, your finances, your home, your livelihood, the roof over your head, your profession. Set those things in order. Um, Marshal those things, those resources towards your goal, and clarify your heart and your motives and your reasons. Um, let your actions that you're taking um, call others to you. Don't advertise or recruit or um, ask for directly support in this goal. This isn't the right kind of situation for that. Let your actions call people to you. Um, and just carry a heart of sort of, I want to say generosity is maybe the word. I'm trying to think of what I'm really thinking here. Um, so the words say calling, humbling, harvesting, availing of moving legions, chastising the capital city. So there's a lot to unpack. It is beneficial to like have others coming to you, but this is sort of like a very like I said, a humble call with your actions and not your words. I don't know if that's coming through. I hope it's speaking to you. I'm going to go a little bit towards this one now. This is hexagram 20. I like to call it contemplating. There are other titles that may help you get a sense of it. Observation, viewing, to examine, perception. This is about that bird's eye view. And I have also a sense of like standing on the shoulders of giants. So like viewing from higher perspective because you've taken in some virtue and wisdom from the ancestors, right? Um, this is an interesting place for our situation to be taking us into. Let everything come into view, examine, contemplate, find the deeper meaning, instruct, inform, make known. Read the signs and celestial omens. Those are some themes and ideas behind this. The advice of the superior individual for this one. Earlier kings used inspecting on all sides, viewing the commoners to set up teaching, evaluates and rectifies his attitudes. So, what I think I can say about this one is we talked about this sort of incompletion, this partial completion, that maybe the completion you'll receive from your efforts so far will seem incomplete to what you maybe had in mind. What the vision you had going into this. And that this card that we're arriving at is about taking a broader view. So maybe your view is too narrow and your sense of what um the goal was not broad enough, and that through your actions, your boldness and confidence to keep moving forward at this, even if it's quiet still, you may start to uncover higher perspective, a newer, broader view of um, where it is that you're really going. And so keep that in mind in this situation, what that might mean for you. Um, I think that's what I have.